May the peace, love and hope of God be with us all. This has been a very difficult year, and Christmas is often a difficult time of year anyway. There's darkness and low mood, financial and relationship stresses, ill health and other worries. And it's a season full of reminders of people we've loved and lost. And this year, people who aren't able to be with us because of travel restrictions and health concerns. So in this time, I offer us time and space to feel whatever we are feeling, to remember whoever we are remembering, and to do so hoping and trusting that God is with us in everything. Later on, there will also be time and space to remember in lighting a candle. So if you want to pause this video to prepare one, this might be a good time. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Today we come with our burdens and cares, with our sorrows and fears, with our anger and questions, which can feel out of place amongst the Christmas cheer some people expect. We come in the darkness, just past the longest night, amidst the cold of winter. We come in fear of coronavirus and the death and illness it's caused, and knowing the devastating effects of restrictions and isolation. We come at the end of an unprecedented and very difficult year. But we still come, and we turn to God. We turn to God who offers us rest. We turn to God whose words of hope echo through the years. We turn to God who promises to be with us always to the end of time. We can turn to God who is ready and able to accept our anger and questions and fears and struggles. And in the darkness, we can look towards longer days and shorter nights. Perhaps we can hope for new light as we reflect and remember, as we listen and pray, as we lament. This time is for you and for God. Use it as you wish. There is no place that God cannot reach, for the God who made heaven and earth is here with us. There is no journey God has not travelled, who in Jesus shared his life with ours. He is here with us. There is no one beyond his care, for the one who came down to earth from heaven is here with us, to comfort and to bless. invite you to continue to turn to God in prayer. In darkness we gather, God, the sunlessness of winter, the bleakness of depression, the knot of anxiety, the agony of loss, the fear of the future, the pain of the world, whatever troubles we bear. We gather in darkness, during a season normally full of magic and sparkle, amongst expectations of good cheer and excitement, with hopes of some kind of normal soon. And we come to you. We come to you, God, for you know us and understand us. And you know and understand the light and the darkness, the joys and the sorrows, the hopes and fears that are within us and around us. And you love us and welcome us just as we are. Meet us here and hear our cries and questions. Meet us here and share our remembering of those we love, who are held even closer in your care. Meet us here as helpless babe, caring friend, loving father and source of life. And as you meet us, help us to know your presence, and so discover your peace, your strength and your hope, for ourselves, for your world and for all people. Amen.
Psalm 13. How much longer will you forget me, Lord? Forever? How much longer will you hide yourself from me? How long must I endure trouble? How long will sorrow fill my heart day and night? How long will my enemies triumph over me? Look at me, O Lord my God, and answer me. Restore my strength. Don't let me die. Don't let my enemies say, we have defeated him. Don't let them gloat over my downfall. I rely on your constant love. I will be glad because you will rescue me. I will sing to you, O Lord, because you have been good to me. Amen.
This year has been hard globally, and there's also much to lament and to wrestle with in our individual lives. Distress and struggle are felt deeply. They are part of the human condition. We heard that in our psalm, and we hear that in our next reading, which also reminds us that it's into that human condition that God comes. God comes to be with us. That is the Christmas story. That is the glimmer of hope for many of us in the darker days.
The Gospel of John, chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all humanity. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. Amen.
It's the most wonderful, most blessed time of the year. Only it's not. Not for everyone. Not when there's an empty chair at the table. Not when your body is ravaged with illness. Not when the depression is too much to bear. Not without her voice joining yours in the Christmas carols. Not when you feel all alone and you can't meet up with anyone. Not when you're not sure that you can even afford the rent or mortgage, let alone the presents. Not when they're trying their best to get the best of you. Not when uncertainty means he'll come home drunk again. Not when there's so much violence and destruction in the world. Not when COVID brings fear and uncertainty to everyone. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Only it's not, for so many reasons, for so many of us. But then the first Christmas isn't the story of people having a wonderful time. It's a story of a teenage girl pregnant with a child that's not her husband's. It's a story of a child laid in an animal stall. It's a story of a family of refugees who had to flee their homeland so that their child wouldn't be killed. It's a story of one sent into the world in peace who was condemned to death. It's a story of light sent to shine in the darkness which the world then snuffed out. It's a story of God's never-ending and self-giving love which was rejected and condemned. So can it be the most wonderful time of the year? It can be if we leave aside the tinsel and trees and jolliness and trappings, and if we remember. Remember that Mary was alone and afraid, and God was with her. Remember that Joseph was disgraced, and God revealed to him his plan to save the world. Remember that the world seemed to be in darkness, and God sent the light of life to shine. Remember that we felt alone, and God came to be with us. Remember that the lowly were imprisoned, and Jesus set them free. The sick were rejected, and through Jesus they were able to leap and dance. The sorrowful grieved, and Jesus wept with them. The world brought death, and Jesus gave us hope of resurrection. It is the most wonderful, most blessed time of the year. Not because you have to be cheery and happy, but because you don't. You can have heavy spirits and shattered dreams, broken hearts and deep wounds, and God still comes to be with you and with us all. Christ is born, love has come, and God is with us. Amen. Christ is born, love has come, and God is with us. And now, with God, we take time to remember, to pray, to cry, to lament just now. In church, I would invite you all to light candles, to remember people or situations at this time. People you grieve, people you worry about, situations you fear, situations you hold hope for. So if you want and you can, wherever you are, feel free to light candles. If you want and you can, perhaps speak the names of people and places out loud. If you want, just think of people and situations and offer your hopes, fears and tears to God. Lighting this first candle, we remember those people who have been loved and lost. We pause to remember their name, their face, their voice, and to give thanks for the memory that binds them to us. Lighting this second candle, we gather our pain and loss. The pain of the past and the loss of relationships, the loss of jobs, the loss of health. We gather up the pain and the loss and offer it to you, O God, asking that you give us the gift of peace. Lighting this third candle, we remember the suffering in our world. The violence that affects nations and homes, the disasters that transform lives, the hunger and poverty that limit hopes, all those who are refugees seeking safety, the climate emergency, the COVID pandemic. We hold our world before you, God. Lighting this fourth candle, we remember ourselves this Christmas. We pause and remember the weeks, months or years of downtimes, the poignancy of memories, the grief, the sadness, the hurts. And lighting this candle, we remember the gift of hope that God offers to us in the Christmas story. We remember that God, who shares our life in all its fullness, promises us a place and time of no more pain and suffering. All our laughter and sadness, safe now in God's hands. All our anger, all our gladness, safe now in God's hands. All our stories, all our memories, safe now in God's hands. Those we remember, those we love, safe now in God's hands. I offer another prayer for us. God with us, hear our prayer for all those who journey through life, this life and the next. Be with all who journey through danger, suffering and loss, here and across the world. May no one journey alone. Thank you for all those who have journeyed with us, whose presence we will always cherish. Thank you that you have journeyed with us, that you will never leave us to journey alone. Thank you for a promise and hope that light even the frailest of lights in the darkness. Thank you for your birth into this world, a world that needs love and hope and peace. God of never-ending love, hear our prayer for all who journey through life, this life and the next, and hear our prayer for ourselves as we journey onwards. Amen. And now receive this blessing. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the gentle night to you. Deep peace of Christ, the light of the world, to you. Deep peace and love of God to you and to us all, now and forevermore.